All right, listen, this one's for all my basketball parents out there. You know the grind, right? Those long weekends, early mornings, travel games, hotel bills, highlight reels, all of it. But what if I told you there's a hidden strategy that families like ours are using to protect their kids' future without working harder or giving up their dreams? Today, I'm pulling back the curtains on how one family turned their 401k trap into over $150,000 of tax free income and built a life that they actually control. You know, you're a basketball parent when you pay the club fees, tournament fees, pay for parking, and you still got to pay to watch your kid play. But we do it anyway, right? Because we love them. We'll drive hours, spend weekends in hot gyms, and cheer until we lose our voices. All for that one perfect moment they shine. Now imagine if that same energy, that same dedication you pour into their dream was quietly working behind the scenes to protect your future too. Picture this. A year from now, your money's finally growing tax free, without risk, without stress. And you built a plan that supports both your kid's dream and your freedom. That's literally what I help families do every single day. Now, before you even think, this ain't a sales pitch. You're not going to hear me say some limited time offer. This is about awareness and clarity, not convincing. See, it's not about making more money. It's about mastering what happens to it after you earn it. Every dollar should report to you. But here's the thing. This goes against everything we were taught. We were told save more, spend less, write it off, hustle harder. Nah, that's the trap. This flips that script. This is how high earners become power players. You're already working hard. The difference, they're building wealth in silence while everyone else is playing catch up. And once you see how the top 1% position their dollars, you can't unsee it and you'll never go back. Now, quick disclaimer. I'm not your financial advisor, lawyer, or CPA, but I am a licensed financial professional and I've actually used this strategy myself. At one point, I really thought my 401k was the smartest way to save for retirement. Then I realized my money could actually be earning while I sleep, without market crashes or hidden fees. I used to think wealth came from working harder. Now I know it comes from positioning smarter. I used to just trust my 401k and hope for the best. Now I know how to grow wealth safely and tax free. And look, this isn't about getting rich overnight. It's about building tax free cash that funds your business, your family, and your future. So let's talk about how it works. It's called the lift method. All right, picture this. You've got a magic money backpack. Every time you put money in it, it does two things at once. It grows safely inside the backpack. You can still use it when you need to, like for a big purchase, a trip, or helping your family. So your money is working in two places at the same time. It's growing for your future and helping you live better right now. And here's the cool part. That backpack also protects your family. So if something ever happens to you, they're still taken care of. It helps families grow money, protect loved ones, and stay in control without choosing between now and later. So who am I? I'm Jonathan Mercado, former pro boxer, PE teacher, basketball coach, and I'm a loving husband and proud father. Man, I really thought I was doing everything right. I had a job I loved. I was contributing to my 401k, giving back to the community. On paper, it looked like I was winning. But behind the scenes, I was drained, stressed, and stuck. In college, my own sister told me to max out student loans, and I was on a scholarship. That's how lost we were financially. I didn't know any better. I just followed the same path like everyone else did. Go to school, get a degree, get a job, save a little, and just hope it all works out. When I started teaching, I was putting like $100 a month into my 401k. I thought I was being responsible until I actually ran the numbers later on. At that rate, I would retire with maybe $36,000. And that's before taxes, before inflation, and that's if the market didn't crash. And honestly, I wasn't getting paid enough as a teacher. With everything going on in the schools and administration, I just started to lose the passion. So I made a decision. I needed to move on. You know how it is. Teachers, they just don't get paid enough. I still wanted to help people, but I also wanted to build something real for myself and my own family. No one in life ever taught me about finances. They don't teach this stuff in school, right? But I learned something important. Even though it wasn't my fault that I never learned about money, it was my problem to fix. And it's up to me to change it. So when my brother told me, hey, you should talk to my friend, he's in personal finance, I decided to take that chance. And that one conversation changed everything. Now, me being an athlete, I've always had that drive to be the best. So when I stepped in this new field, I went all in. I started reading every book I can get my hands on. I invested in tons of money in programs, learned from great mentors, and watched hours of YouTube videos, just trying to understand how money really works. I realized fast, if you don't learn how to play the money game, it will eat you alive. That's when I discovered how wealthy people grow and protect their money, how they avoid losses, cut out unnecessary fees, and build wealth tax-free. And through that process, I created my own approach, what I now call the LIFT method, the life insurance financial tool. Now I help families like Darnell and Tasha do the same, people who are doing everything right, but just need a smarter way to grow wealth safely, tax-free, and without all the risk. That's what the LIFT method is all about, protecting your family, growing your money, and securing your dreams while minimizing your risk. All right, now let me show you how this actually works through a real family. So Darnell and Tasha, they're both 40, married, 2 kids, Jackson and Layla. If you ever been part of the AU grind, you already know. The travel, the hotel bills, the food, the gas, it never ends. They were doing what every great parent does, investing in their kids' dreams. But behind the scenes, they were neglecting their own. Then one day, Darnell got injured. No paycheck, bills piling up, credit cards maxed out, and the money they did have was locked up in 401ks they couldn't even touch. One night, Darnell came across one of my videos online, and he booked a call the next day. So when we got on the call, we dug deeper to get a better understanding of their situation. And here's what we found. They were contributing around $2,500 a month between both their 401ks. So yeah, they were saving, but all of it was locked away until retirement. They had about $70,000 in home equity, but also a $350,000 mortgage, $55,000 in car loans, and about $12,000 in credit card debt. They had health insurance, but no disability coverage. So when Darnell got hurt, income stopped overnight. And the only life insurance he had was through his job, which was $50,000, which would disappear the day he left. So from the outside, they looked solid. Dual income, house savings. But once we looked deeper, it was clear. No liquidity, no protection, and no control. That's when I showed them how to reposition what they already had into a plan that gives them protection, access, and long-term tax-free growth. This is what it looks like inside the real numbers. All right, I'm going to keep this super simple. Darnell and Tasha were doing what most families do, saving into their 401k, trying to do the right thing. The problem was their money was in the market. So when the market went up, they made money, but when it dropped, they could lose years of progress overnight. So instead of gambling with their future, we just repositioned a portion of what they already saved. Tell them to save more, just to save smarter. Now their money grows consistently. It's protected from market crash, and they can access it anytime tax-free. Their premium outlay, that's just what they contribute. It's $2,000 a month or $24,000 a year. That's the maximum they could safely fund based on their income and design. The nice part is it's flexible. If life happens and they need to free up cash, they can lower it, skip a payment, or pause once there's enough cash value built up. They're not locked into it like a 401k. Think of it like filling a tank. $2,000 a month keeps it optimized. If they need to slow down, they can. When things stabilize, they can ramp it right back up. Before we look at the number, here's what each column means. So the age, that's when Darnell started the year in the plan. Total charges, small internal costs that fund protection and guarantees. Cash value, that's what they can actually access, their usable money. Death benefit, what their family gets tax free if something happens. Net distributions is the income they can pull out in retirement. Now, the illustration is based on a 6.65 growth rate. That's conservative for compliance. But historically, these plans have averaged closer to 8 to 10%. I like to underpromise and overdeliver. If it performs, great. That's just the icing on top of the cake. By 45, they would have put in a total of 120,000, and their cash value is at 125,000, and their death benefit is at 539,000. So 50, they would have contributed a total of 240,000 with around $300,000 in cash value, and their death benefit is 726,000. By age 55, they would have put in a total of 360,000, and then their cash value is at 585,000, and then their death benefit is a little under a million. By age 60, this is where things really start to compound. They would have put in a total of 480,000. Now their cash value is a little under a million. Now they have access to 1.3 million in death benefit. And then age 65, they would have put a total 600,000. Now their cash value is at 1.5, and then their death benefit is at 1.9 million. Everything you see is after charges, so that's their real net growth. And at age 66, they stopped contributing. No more money out of pocket. Now the plan starts paying them. They take out $150,000 a year tax-free from age 66 all the way to age 85. So they would have taken out a total of $3 million, all tax-free, and they would have only put in $600,000. And they would still leave their family $700,000 all tax-free. They went from saving money to living off their money without worrying about taxes or market crashes. The death benefit protects their family if something happens completely tax-free. But what most people don't realize are the living benefits. If Darnell had another accident or got sick, he doesn't have to die to use his plan. He can access part of that benefit while he's alive to cover medical bills, recovery, or lost income. So it's not just life insurance, it's life protection. It helps when things go wrong, and it lets you live better when things go right. For Darnell and Tasha, now life looks completely different for them. They're not worried about the market or checking their accounts every week. They know exactly where they stand. They're traveling more, spending time with family, and actually enjoying life because their money's working for them. If something ever happened again, they'd be covered. They got flexibility, protection, and a peace of mind. This isn't about chasing returns or getting rich quick. It's about building a plan that protects your family, grows your wealth safely, and gives you freedom no matter what life throws at you. That same peace of mind Darnell and Tasha found, that could be your story too. The only difference between them and everyone else, they took action. Scan the QR code below to schedule your tax-free strategy call and see what your future could look like, stress-free, tax-free, and built on your terms.